You are not being targeted. You are being governed. Every outcome you face is not random. It is lawful. The universe is not reacting to you. It is responding to a rule you cannot escape. You feel pressure because pressure is the signal. You feel resistance because resistance is the test. Nothing here is personal. Everything here is exact. There is a law beneath all motion. It operates without exception. It does not pause for belief. It does not bend for emotion. It does not care what you want. It responds to what you do. This law is older than language. It is cause and effect. Action creates consequence. Inaction creates decay. Every moment obeys this structure. Every result confirms it. You cannot negotiate with it. You can only align with it. The problem is not confusion. The law is clear. The problem is behavior. Most people violate the law without realizing it. They think wanting is enough. They think thinking is movement. They think understanding creates change. They wait. They plan. They rehearse outcomes in their mind. But they do not apply pressure to reality. The law does not recognize intention. It recognizes force. Force comes from action, not from desire. When you delay, the law records delay. When you hesitate, the law records hesitation. When you make excuses, the law records excuses. And it responds accurately. Silence from the universe is not rejection. It is feedback. Inaction sends a clear message. It says there is nothing to respond to. Action and inaction do not produce equal outcomes. They move reality in opposite directions. Action creates momentum. Momentum reshapes conditions. Inaction preserves the current state. The current state slowly erodes. Nothing stays neutral. Everything is moving forward or backward. When you act, resistance appears. Resistance means engagement. When you do nothing, resistance disappears. So does progress. The law responds only to pressure. Pressure comes from effort. Effort applied over time becomes structure. Structure becomes result. This is why shortcuts fail. They do not sustain pressure. This is why bursts fail. They do not survive time. The law does not reward intensity. It rewards consistency. Small actions repeated daily carry weight. Large actions abandoned carry none. Time is not an enemy. Time is the enforcer. Time multiplies what you repeat. It exposes what you avoid. Every disciplined action is stored. Every skipped action is stored. The universe does not forget patterns. It responds to them. Results arrive when patterns become undeniable, not when you demand them. This is where most people break alignment. They stop too early. They expect immediate confirmation. They abandon the law before it completes its work. Consistency is not exciting. That is why it works. The law moves quietly. It compounds invisibly. You may not see change today, but pressure is accumulating. The universe does not announce progress. It reveals outcomes. This law does not ask who you were. It responds to what you repeat now, and repetition shapes identity. You are not defined by your intentions. You are defined by your actions. Action is not something you do, it is something you become. When you act daily, discipline forms. When discipline forms, resistance loses power, not because it disappears, but because you expect it. Aligned individuals do not seek motivation. They obey the law. They act because action is required, not because they feel ready. They understand something fundamental. The law does not reward emotion. It rewards alignment. When you align, the universe responds differently, not emotionally. Structurally, paths open because momentum exists. Opportunities appear because pressure exists, not instantly, inevitably. You cannot escape this law. You can only work with it. Act Act today. Act again tomorrow. Let time complete what discipline begins.